Hi, um, good afternoon, and welcome to Global Info Analytics. My name is Musah Danquah, the head poster at Global Informatics. Today, we're taking a look at the new release NPP delegate poll, which was released this morning, today, 24th of October 2025. What were the findings? Let's look at the methodology and approach.
Minia, mamina wasi, na mema wakwaba. Agenda TV Ghana. Mesra, so winya subscribe na bibi biara. Enye kama. Mi video ba kumbi mu meka ye. Sisi ya no Ghana for aje Musah Danquah atum se eba election polls dia were one of the experts. Edunti Musah Danquah se oda kura na oye polls. Friday ye ena wasan release latest poll awaye edia for NPP Primaries ya omo ba beko on the 31st of January 2026 no. Me de be asem ena Musah Danquah sisi oka video no ewo ho me no be kwakọhwe na wo hu nipa a owo NPP Primaries race no mu a obetumi awene elections no na sa nipa no owini a is that person going to win the general elections? Ye be video no na ye wia ko comment section ho se ne wadwen eye obia no na wa kire wadwen na bibi biara aye kama na ansa na ye be ko Musah Danquah ne nchen no yentie ohima sechiwa a wo ye nadwuma ewo Angel TV o kan sembi edi afa free senior high school yi a ekoso yi eho na ne nsem na o kan no medie mene no eye adwen 100% yenko na yenko tie asem a o kan na se yekoba kire wadwen ye hwe no video no ewia mede Musah Danquah ni video de no so ebeto so na ye hwe ni na ewia menua kire wadwen e bo comment section ho na bibi biara enje kama na ansa na ebehwe videos no unya subscribe ye to Agenda TV Ghana mesrew sisi ye ya be kase obe subscribe na bibi biara aye kama like video we so fama me na mwa na bibi biara enje kama ye hwe videos so emra ye koba ye beto so e de afro meda wase
Computer placement system. Education Minister Yera Haruna Idrusu edi kan aka sanso na no achi no Yera afenyo marking podie wasan the free senior high school no de ababebo so say just so mo for the past 8 years no ma da afi no mo nyane enti de na ye ka no na enye ho no madwen wo afi na Yera afenyo marking bebreba ye kan for free senior high school ho afi no wate bie ye mampani she ye boss free senior high school no ba omodo omo nsa be kan se de be ya niam bi achiachia ewo mu no ye betimi asiesie. Now parents are crying ese enwoma nko a ye de akwada ne ko school a ye beto no eso by tre chen ya kan school fees anu omutua na che say free senior high school ye se memetua school fees de enso niam a wo mo je no e chen bibia. And my question is, I don't mean to offend anybody, mase misane say wo school no ye bi e waje nkwada 1000 obia the mop buckets eba mo de ye de nkwala 1000 e was so obia the mop bucket eba na mu school no e fa ya plaster e yesen asinsan ni school mu ho mo compound ni nyina omo de ye de nkwada 1000 ni nyina the mop bucket eba omo de be ye de nkwada 1000 obia de sekan beba omo de be ye de because school laborers wo ha omo no omo do enen kwada ikura no biu adro wo ho a e baby aso adwuma kakra bi na da bia mpo no omo do ana na se ye kasa nkwala no kwa grounds work omo kwa kodompo a atego no omo nyina no omo do ana na ye nim say school e wo store room a anka aso a ye de do sekan ne sa niema mop ne mop bucket niema ye yusu e di cleaning school mo nyina anka school bia wo bia e wo ho no ma school laborers a wo ho omo no omo de ye adwuma. The question is, aye den na bedroom pepen so aye fa nkwada 1000 obi a to mop bucket ato mop adiesim ye fa nkwada 1000 obi a to desta no so omo pepapa ni bio that yellow one na ye current tonto ye ka mu no obi a to desta nkwada 1000 apart from niam omo abe yusu omo do omo de come school no emu washing powder nkwada no so ye adwuma na omo be skrabe omo yusu omo washing powder. And the question is, Sanya ma bebrebe na omojiji no. Ya yede. Last year nkwada 1000 moje. Mu yusu sa mop ne mo bucket ni nyina amanasa. Ehi anasa yede. Afi so nkwada na eba nkwada 1000 obi ade beba. Edien na odo be ko school ayeje ya okra adwen ho a wonti ase nso se enka ho a yanyi akwada no. Wato ni school atade. Bibia wasa akwada ni nya odi besua de no wanya. But woni more bucket and niam so yenti wotimi nko school. And some of the schools, nyamia domine NPCB, aboa, ama bi mo chop box. Ama mo trunk. Yes, schools ni bi so amo nye trunk. Amo nye chop box. Enti ji so ba betua locker sika. Aje so ba beto locker sika ansa na wo betua sika for your locker ansa. Ohia ni bi ba mo borofo a yadom na che no friend say chop box anko de ne ne begum school. Oba yesu wuntumi use for jude back fa niam akumbra oba no ba beyi egu ha. Yes, we have it. Eboa ema mutimi economize this space. Na de onu nyame anya na doma ma ni ti anya yokita ska wanya na chop box no. Ono so chenchen age so betua locker. Some of the things are yeje ewo schools mu no. GS patron moni abaso. Area education minister moni abaso mo bisam.
Hi, good afternoon and welcome to Global Informatics. My name is Musah Danquah, the head poster at Global Informatics. Today we're taking a look at the new released NPP delegate poll, which was released this morning, today 24th of October 2025. What were the findings? Let's look at the methodology and approach. We sampled 2,643 NPP delegates in 16 regions, randomly across 270 constituencies, randomly. The confidence level is 99%, margin of error 2.44%. The mode of survey was telephone, what we call CATI. And then we interviewed the people between 20th and 23rd October 2025. The demography is as follows: 24% were female and 76% were male. Age groups profile 18 to 24 is 1%, 25 to 34 is 15%, 35 to 44 is 44%, and 45 to 54 is 30%. And then people between 55 to 64, 7%, and 65 plus, around 3%. Educational level: junior high 39%, senior high 31%, tertiary education 21%, and no formal qualifications 9%. Among the delegates, 77% were Christians, 17 were Muslim, 3 were no religion, 2% were traditional religion, and others 1%. If you look at the ethnicity, largely Akans 59%, Maulid Bani 15%, Awes 8%, 7% Maulid Bani, Guans 5%, and others 3%, with the rest spreading across. How does the rest look like today? Now, we asked the respondents to tell us how they voted in the last primaries. And according to the response they give to us, 60% said they went for Baumia, 18% said Kennedy, 1% Akoto, Dr. Akoto, and 1% Adainimo. But 19% did not disclose how they voted last time. So if you add 19% to 18% that Kennedy got, you realize that the not disclosed vote are Ken voters in the last election. Ken got around 37. If you add 18 plus 19, that's 37%. Fairly accurate. And then Baumia got 61%. Here we're getting around 60%. And then Dr. Akoto and Adainimo, they both got less than 2%. So that 1% probably, when adjusted, will go to Baumia. So clearly, the delegates were telling us the truth. But how are they, or do they intend to vote now if given the chance to vote? 44% said they would vote for Baumia. 19% said they would vote for Kennedy. 15% said they would vote for Dr. Brian Champon. 1% would vote for Dr. Osei Duchum. And 1% would vote for Engineer Kwabna Eje Ejapon. But 15% still did not disclose who they want to vote for. 15%. And 15% again say they are undecided. So technically speaking, if you are trying to see who these not disclosed guys are, I would probably add them to Kennedy. And then the rest, the other 15% undecided, they are the ones who are going to decide who wins Npp Primaries. So frankly speaking, they not disclose mostly are Kennedy supporters. So the battle lies in who is able to win those genuinely undecided. Now, if you look at the two periods between September and October, Bawumia moved from 47% to 44%, as he dropped by 3%. Canada Japan moved from 17 to 19, up 2%. Brian Champon from 3% to 5%, up 2%. But Edichum and Canada Japan did not change. But then we saw a huge jump in those who did not disclose their voting intention from 4% to 15% now. That's up 11%. And those who are undecided declined from 27% to 15%. That's a drop of nearly 12%. Now, if you say runoff, who would you vote for? Bawumia goes to 46%. Ken then goes to 23%. Still not disclosed 15%. And then 16% are undecided. So in that scenario, you could still be comfortable to add the 15% to Kennedy. And then we see how those who are undecided will break. And I think the race sits with those who are undecided at this stage. Now, if you look at who is MPP in the runoff, Bawumia was 49% and now 46%, so down 3%. Ken was 20%, now 23%, up 3%. But those who did not disclose moved from 5% to 15%, up 10%. And those who said they are undecided, they were 26% before, now 16%. So you can see that there is a downward trend of about 10%. That's the race so far. Now, interestingly, in the sense of runoff, how are the candidates retaining their vote? If it's a runoff, we realize that Bawumia will retain 96% of his vote, but 3% will go to Kennedy. 1% have moved to undisclosed now, if you look at the data. But when it comes to Kennedy supporters, 7% will vote for Bawumia in the runoff, surprisingly, and 92% will still vote for him. So in terms of retention, he has lost about 7% of his vote, whereas Bawumia has lost 4%. Now, when it comes to people who are voting for Dr. Brian Champon, 31% said they will vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and 44% will vote for Kennedy. 21% are undisclosed, and 4% are undecided. For those who are voting for Educhum, 39% Bawumia, 39% Kennedy. So they are split when it comes to the voters of Educhum. 9% said they are not disclosing, and 3% are undecided. When it comes to Kobnaji Japan, 42% of people, so most of these people will vote for Bawumia, compared with 35% for Kennedy Japan. 16% are undecided. But for those who did not disclose who they would vote for in the first round, 1% changed their mind, said they would vote for Kennedy. 3% said they were not disclosing, and 96% said not disclosing, or they are undecided, undecided. For those who were undecided in the round one, 2% will go to Bawumia, 1% will go to Kennedy, 95% are still not undisclosed, and 2% say they are undecided. So this is the kind of thing we are seeing in the race. In terms of voter retention, those who in 2023 voted for Bawumia, 72% are voting for him again, but 12% have shifted their vote to Kennedy. 3% are saying they are not disclosing, and 13% said they are undecided. But those who voted for Kennedy in the last election, 15% have switched to Bawumia, but 70% have stuck to Kennedy. 4% said they are not disclosing, and 11% are undecided. So you can see that on like for like, Bawumia is retaining more of his 2023 voters than Kennedy is. And again, more people have switched from Kennedy to Bawumia than from Bawumia to Kennedy, according to this poll. Now, you can see the regional block, but so far, Bawumia is leading in Ahafo, it's leading in Ashanti region, it's leading in Bono region, leading in Bono East region, it's leading in Central region, leading in Eastern region, leading in Greater Accra, leading in Northeast region, leading in Northern region, leading in OT, leading in Savannah, leading in Upper East, leading in Upper West, leading in Volta region, leading in Western region, and leading in Western North. He leads across everywhere. But in the case of Greater Accra, the race is much closer. Baumia is 36, Kennedy 14%. In Eastern region, Baumia 38, Ken 27. But in Central region, Baumia 50%, Kennedy 16%. Ashanti region, Baumia 39%, and Kennedy 28%. Then you have in the Western region, Baumia 52% and Ken 25%. So it's kind of Baumia is leading everywhere, but in some cases the race is a bit closer, with a big number who are saying undecided or I will not disclose. So we expect a bit of movement among them, but the race really lies among those who say they are undecided. But Baumia is in a very good position from what we have seen in the polls. Thank you very much.
Yahwe video no mienu na utie nsɛm na yɛyi sister yi okay ya no kre sisi ya no sɛ obi ewie JHS na sɛ wɔkɔ secondary school na sisika enifia na ayɛ asɛm bi a ɛwɔ hɔ but asɛm yi a okay enye sɛ bia His Excellency John Dramani Mahama waba aban mu enti na nneɛma bo akɔsoro saa ana sɛ schools no ɔmo demand nneɛma bebree but tam na Nana Danquah Kufuado ɔwɔ hɔ no na nneɛma saa nneɛma no na ɛkɔ so. But as a Ghana for no, now we are content with it. Nobody was talking about it. What you are saying, my sister always that concern. Tell my young muna secondary school. Obia to second. Oko yen store second go every year biana omo edge. Sa second year de. In the school no omuntu mi fa kwan bi so pesa ni manu bi engu ho se ne be ya omo clean school mu ho no omo be yusu. But then bia na ye to sa. But yenim se sa nneoma no moton wu se omu di gu ho ma ne se yi o ati ase nti yen sister no why idea pass we raise this concern na minim se yen panyimfo no so omu tie and they will take action against that thing. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama inim se wo de ensem bi se wo tie utu ho anamo ye besrew wo ne headmasters a omu wo secondary schools no mu no omu enkasa se ne be ya nneoma bi msie no ye betumi ayi every prospectus no mu na boa ma parents no so omu do omu ma school a omu ambre afi yenko Musah Danquah na asem na waka no eso me de me ni asem titru bi a meka e de afa ho ono na waye no post na wa kire ni pako a obedi nkonim e wo elections yi a ba beba so yi emu nti ye de ye wo Ghana memu ha candidate a sabi obetumi aye adwuma no na ye hwehwe se omode no ebeba saa na ndisi so ombeyi omode ye nti ye bo mpa ye de omu beyi na omo egidi se obetumi aboa Ghana man no ye yina ye be support say ye ndisi say ye NPP wona boa ama bibi biara aye kama enti menua me de wo besi ya na ansa na ye be koro wunya subscribe ya mesro so be subscribe na boa ma bibi biara aye kama me ne wo ebe hye bi sisi ye de makro bye bye.